Hello! Let us evaluate an article I found online to use as a source for one of my research questions. If precision dairying will essentially create healthier cattle, how can nutrient-rich options of dairy help consumers from emotionally buying or drinking less? Then decide if it is a good fit and credible enough to cite this source for my research question using the attempt known as the CRAAP test. Buzzing in. Alright guys, here we are. Let me adjust this a little bit and try and get some of the advertisements out. Just a moment. Okay. Alright, that should be good. Alright, so here we are. I chose this article from the Washington Post. Lawsuit alleges USDA dietary guidelines are driven by milk marketing concerns, not nutrition, recognizing that it is more current than most on the topic of milk consumption. Currency is the first letter of our CRAAP assessment. And when you find the published and copyrighted dates, you want to determine if currency will influence your research. It is noticeably clear right here under the author's name. This article was published more than 2 years ago in April of 2021. It is also stated at the top of the page in small print. This article was published more than 2 years ago. This photo here is also cited and is recent as well, showing milk being stocked at a local grocery store in April of 2020. Due to my research questions, modern inputs of recent technology and current statistics on quality of milk and its production lets me know that currency is imperative to narrowing down a possible present conclusion. And when you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see this article has not been edited since the published date, and there is no copyright date either. The rest is advertisement. Okay, let's scroll back up. Since this article is 5 years old or newer, it is current, which brings us to relevance. The idea here is figuring out what type of document this is and if it presents all factual viewpoints and not just one side of the story. Research can be biased and based on the author's opinion, so citations can help us establish if it is factual, opinion-based, or both. So we already know the Washington Post is a newspaper, which makes this a newspaper article. When you Google the Washington Post's purpose, which I will do now, we'll do it here so you can see it. Oh, I've already Googled it. And let's go to the About the Washington Post. And we can scroll down and see the 7 principles for the conduct of the newspaper, established in 1935. And here, the last bullet point, we can conclude that they are a commercial publisher reporting accurate, unbiased news, and of course do so for a profit. Journalists need to be paid also. All right, we can click out of there and come back to our article. This article informs us about a lawsuit filed on a federal agency by 3 vegan doctors sharing a practice in California. The doctors allege that the current dietary guidelines put out by the USDA contradict recent scientific and medical knowledge, harming 1/4 of Americans who are lactose intolerant. The vegan practitioners also propose that the USDA are not looking out for the health of Americans and only for the interests of profits for the industry. The author shares that a spokesman for the USDA said that the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine has sued the USDA after the release of the past 2 dietary guidelines, which she has cited and continues to inform us that the lawsuits have been dismissed, which she states right here. Because they are guidelines based on the best science and research applicable and are not mandatory, which is all stated here. This information is detailed, with facts stated from both sides, creating balanced viewpoints and makes this article relevant. Moving on with our CRAAP test. Authority. This is one of the most crucial factors of a source you are citing for a college research paper because we want to make sure the authors have the knowledge and completed research on the specific topic. We can see Laura Rayleigh is the author, and when you click on her name, a brief bio including her education and work experience is available to view. The author has a BS in English, and she is the food reporter for the Washington Post, so this looks good so far. I am uncertain about her knowledge and opinion on milk quality and comparisons of consumptions, even though she has culinary experience. And she looks like she's also written 4 books based on entertainment, travel, possibly culinary. So I cannot say that she is qualified to discuss this topic. I will need more information to determine her authority. Okay. We are here at midpoint, ready to discuss accuracy. Now we want to consider the presentation of the document. How is the newspaper article written? Does the author use specialized vocabulary presenting a proper education? Or does she use informal language providing inconsistencies in grammar and punctuation? We also want to gather how the author organized and analyzed the research before authoring the article. Reading this article, I can see she uses specialized vocabulary, with proper punctuation and clearly cites her references. I can also see that she used interviews with the spokesman from the USDA, which is up here. I mentioned this earlier. And a family physician, which she speaks about here. Literature reviews, like how the Trump administration limited the scope of the USDA's 2020 dietary guidelines, and the doctor's alleged lawsuit, plus data analysis from the USDA dietary guidelines, make her research well done. This article passes the accuracy test and brings us to the last letter. Purpose. This one falls in line with authority. Since we need to find a credible source, the publication cannot be biased to try and sell us something, and certainly should not be for our entertainment purposes either. So why did the author write this, and what was her purpose? Well, going back to her brief bio, Being a food reporter for the Washington Post tells us the author is informing us on a topic in her area of journalism. Did she also present all viewpoints relating to the topic, or is she biased in her information? We already established the quality of her work during the relevance part of this assessment to be factual and unbiased in nature because she points out both parties' views and even includes other literature used as further reference to the topic, which I can point out right now. She actually encloses a few other links broadening our perspective. Here's a link talking about trends leading to butter and cheese instead of drinking milk. And here's a good link on a scientific research report on milk and health. And I understand it may look like she is trying to persuade us to for another subscription. However, if you just put your email in, you can read the research report for free. Bringing us to the last step, the conclusion. Okay, let me adjust this. Based on my evaluations, this article met currency, relevance. I am uncertain about the author's authority yet. Accuracy is okay, and purpose seems like it meets requirements with questions relating to the actual science of milk. So the focus question here is, will I cite this newspaper article in my college-level research paper? My answer? It is likely. Discovering another component of the author's authority on the topic of milk consumption should determine if her culinary experience is primarily for entertainment or if there is a bias somewhere. Reading further on the science of milk from the link she enclosed should provide me with a better overall perspective on her qualification in the dairy dominion. Thanks for listening. Buzzing off now. Bye-bye.